take care of you. I will.
The first thing that I'm going to do is prime my face, and this is my favorite primer. This is the Benefit Porefessional primer, and it's basically a pore minimizing primer. And what a primer does is make sure that your foundation or whatever it is priming lasts longer. So if you have an eyeshadow primer, then it makes sure your eyeshadow lasts longer. Foundation primer, make sure your foundation lasts longer. And I'm just pressing this into the skin. I'm going to use this LA Pro Concealer in the color Orange, and I'm going to use this to color correct. And the primary areas that I have hyperpigmentation and discoloration are around my mouth. So it's usually where I color correct. And I also apply it right here because, as you guys can see, it is a bit darker than the rest of my skin. And I just paint that on. And it's the same way on the other side. So just paint that on. And to blend that in, I like to use my finger, or at least like to start using my finger, because the warmth of your finger helps the concealer blend out a little bit easier. So once I've blended out as much as I can with my finger, I like to go in with a Real Technique sponge or a beauty blender and blend it out even more. So my favorite wintertime foundation has been the Nars All Day Luminous foundation, and it is in the color Gunieua. And I like this foundation because it has a dewy finish as opposed to the matte finish that I'm used to. And I like to pump some on my hand, and then I like to just pat it all over, dot it all over my face, jeez. So I've used other things to blend out my foundation, but my favorite is still a stippling brush. So I'm going to use the stippling brush to blend it all out. So if you guys notice, when I'm applying my foundation, I don't concentrate it very much underneath my eyes, and that's because when I apply my eyeshadow, when I get ready to apply the bottom eyeshadow, then I go ahead and put concealer under there. So I'm going to use the bottom end of this Real Technique sponge and just go over my face one more time and make sure everything is blended before I start to powder. Contour, I use either one or both of these, and I use the LA Pro Concealer in the color Beautiful Bronze and the Black Radiance Pressed Powder in the color Rich Mahogany. Today I'm just going to use this powder to contour, just because of the mood that I'm in. So I like to use a brush that is a powder brush, and I like to pat it into the product and blow off the excess. And then just like a kind of subtle contour. I don't like anything too deep. And contouring is done to add dimension to the face so that your face doesn't look flat and one-dimensional, because that's not realistic at all. And sometimes when you apply foundation, then it can kind of mute out some of your features. So I take my nose contour very seriously. I don't contour my nose very often, but when I do, I need for it to look right. I don't want it to look overly strong or anything. So I actually use a different bronzer for my nose, and that is the chocolate Toofaced bronzer, and this is just a sample. If I run out of this, I would buy another one, but that day hasn't come yet, and I've had it for a while. So I apply this with a fluffy eyeshadow brush. So I really don't like a strong contour. All I want to contour for is to bring my features back. I don't want to like change them to whole new features. So that's enough for me. Next, I'm going to take this Airspun powder that I got from Walmart. I also mentioned this in my most recent favorites video. It's only like $5 and I love this facial powder. Why did I call it that? I love this face powder to set my concealer and anywhere that I didn't contour. So I just apply that with a Real Technique sponge as well. And I do my best to press it into the skin as much as possible, because I'm not gonna bake. I'm not gonna allow it to sit on my face. I'm just gonna press it in as much as possible, and then I'm gonna dust away any excess. So I'm really conscious to make sure that I remove all the powder, because if not, you can look kind of pasty and it just looks really weird. So now that I have that done, I'm almost done, and the next step is going to be for me to highlight. And my favorite highlighter of all times is the Becca Champagne Pop, but I don't know if I'm going to use it today. Since this is a foundation routine, I'm not going to use any dramatic highlight. I'm just going to use this Colourpop Smokin' Whistle Super Cheek Shock, and I'm going to use this color. So what I found about the Colourpop highlighters is that they work best if you apply them with a beauty blender. So I'm just going to use this Real Technique sponge, tap it into the highlight, and then I'm just gonna tap that onto my cheeks really lightly. And the reason that I decided to use this Colourpop highlighter is because I feel like it can kind of give you like a natural glow and nothing like too dramatic. So I also like to use it on the bridge of my nose as well as the tip of my nose, and then my Cupid's bow. And if you apply too much of that highlight, you can always go back in with your beauty blender again or your sponge and then just blend it out. So my last step is to spray my face with a makeup setting spray. I like to use the Urban Decay All Nighter spray. I feel like it further enhances the longevity of my makeup. This is the completed look. Be sure to check the description box for any helpful videos as well as product listings. But I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope that you will stay tuned to my channel because there's so much more to come.